Head coach Pete Carroll joins us. Coach, you just talked about the disappointing in the tackling when you looked at the tape there. How do you fix that or approach that going into a short week?
Well, there's not many opportunities to do any tackling this week. We have to make sure that we're reminded about the fundamentals and all, how it got away from us a little bit. It just was a factor in the game. You know, we played really good defense in the first half. We had them shut down for nothing, and then the second half we just kind of gave up some plays, a couple explosives here and there, and they did a nice job executing, and they were able to get their scores. We matched it throughout and all that on both sides. I thought the offense played a terrific football game, but unfortunately we didn't catch that last ball and get that thing, connected.
It wasn't very rare because it's never happened. A missed extra point and a 68-yard field goal. That attempt's never happened and been made before. What did you think when they lined up for that kick, knowing how far it was and it's the last play of the half? Walk us through that.
Yeah, well, we made it as far as you could.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was the longest in the history of the league or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it took to beat us in this game. We played a good football game in a lot of ways. You can always do better. There's always areas to improve and all, but we had to miss one, and they had to hit a 68-yarder to get it done. So. That's just the way it goes. It's a tough game, and give them a lot of credit. That was a great play by them.
Brock was exceptional, and you knew that. We were talking about getting him back. When you installed the game plan and then saw it executed that way, what works with that going forward, seeing him have such a big game?
Well, we're going to continue to use him. The last time he was healthy, he had a pretty good game too in New England. So you could tell that there's real chemistry there, and the offseason really paid off for Geno and Brock. They really know and can understand what's going to happen next, and they can anticipate together. Brock had a great football game, and it helped us in many ways. Geno, a lot of guys contributed as well, but Brock was so obviously the factor. Moving forward, that you better pay attention to him because he's the guy we're going to, and they'll do it. These guys are really good at going to Denver, but it's a big factor in the positive, and I really like the thought you could see us when we're all there. Mm-hmm. You can see what we look like at the start, and you can see us what we look like the other night.
I want to get into Ashton. You were asked about his amount of touches and what you want to get going. I look at this game, they almost had 43 minutes time of possession. It's hard to go back and say, well, Ashton could have had 10 more rushing touchdowns. In Kansas City, you're behind early, so you got to go to the passing game. When you're asked about this frequently with the usage of Ashton as a running back, touching the ball on the ground, what are you saying?
Well, that's what comes with drafting a running back in the first round. Everybody wants to know how come he's not getting the ball 30 times. He's playing well. He's making problems for our opponent. We love him out on the fringe and the edge so that he can go make guys miss. The way the game went, we scored a touchdown in the first half, and we want to make sure and go for it and open it up a little bit, and Chip did exactly that, and we were hard to stop. They couldn't stop us either, and so I'm not really worried about the numbers. Mm-hmm. The balance is important, and I made the point in the press conference that the balance comes from the fourth quarter running the football. Well, we were in a dogfight there, so we were having to chuck it, and it was working out. Geno was on point, and the guys were coming through, and we were protecting and all of that. Everything was working together nice. So we went with what we needed to do to get the game, in hand. We
mentioned Brock and Ashton. You have two cornerstones to this franchise, not even in the beginning of their prime. I mean, that's got to be a positive vibe around there, knowing that this is the future of the team.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. And we love what Ashton contributes, and Brock couldn't be more obvious. He had a great rookie season, and he was a great freshman, a year ago. And so the future is very bright, and we just have to keep building on it and making sure that we're finding our ways to the successes. We took care of the football, but one snap, which was a good thing. Made a big turnover going in, by another young player, by Zay. And so there's a lot of positives going forward. We just got to get the win so we're having more fun for our fans and ourselves.
If you would have told me before the game, and we're on the pregame show with Eric Allen, that Geno would throw 4 touchdowns and Trevor Lawrence wouldn't throw 1, I think you win the game by a score at least. And Trevor Lawrence did a nice job running into one with the dive over the top here. But the positives for Geno going forward, the second half and the fourth quarter, he was really good.
Yeah, that's what he's been for a long time. Yeah. It's what we've counted on. And all I can tell you is that there was a time in between the start of the season and where we are right now that we weren't as clean and as effective as that. But the big factor is having Brock back, and he's one of our big-time players that we're counting on, and it really helps Geno's game as well. And Geno was there for Brock, and he went to him, used him properly, really effectively, and it was a big day for those guys.
Let's get to the Broncos. 40 sacks. Next on that list is Detroit with 28. There's no one even in the 30s. Yeah. You're looking at the film and what you're going to have to do do with protection this week? What do you see?
This is a really good team now. They're good all the way across the board. They've caught up with the quarterback. He's now going. The running game is good. They're committed to it. They've got really real balance. Their defense is very fast, plays very fast, plays aggressively. A lot of man-to-man. They're trying to cover you up and lock you down. Really good four-man rush with a good pressure package to go along with it. But they're hot as can be right now. So we're taking them on in a few days from now. We're going to go get them and see if we can get a win.
I look at their receivers, Sutton, Franklin, and Mims. So they got some bigger, taller guys that like to get deep, and then they go for 50-50 balls well.
Yeah. There's no doubt. Sutton is a tremendous player. He's a good blocker for him as well, but he's a big play dude. They've got a lot of speed when they mix their guys in and out of there. And their running backs are very quick and very explosive. They have a bunch of explosive runs already. So, like I said, this is a very difficult team. The quarterback being able to run the football as well, he's rushed for over a couple hundred yards. He's an effective addition, and Sean's doing a great job bringing him up.
When you looked at Bo Nix initially and evaluated him, what do you think overall? Because he's off to a really good start.
Yeah, that he was a really good all-around athlete.
Okay,
He could run like crazy. He runs in the 4.5s. So he's got ability to make you miss and get out in the open field. That factor is enough to make you have to be careful with this guy because he can tear you up. So I think a lot of it goes to what Sean has done. Sean knew how to handle a young quarterback and brought him up right, and now he's got him going.
Lastly, as we wrap this up, it's an important time, short week. You've talked. Every GM and head coach in this league pretty much. How have you evolved on the trade deadline, just with other teams too? They say that younger GMs want to make trades because it's just the way the league's evolving. You've been around a lot. Have you changed your opinion on what the trade deadline can do? Because you want to keep your good players, and maybe there are opportunities.
Yeah, it just depends what it takes two people to make a trade, and it depends what the opportunities are. We're on all of them. We've talked to everybody that we could talk to know what's going on. We'll do the exact same thing next year and the year after that. That's the way we operate. That's competing. Every single opportunity, you got to make the most of it. Johnny's all over it. So we'll see what happens. But changing, because I haven't changed at all. The competition part of it is what drives us. There may be an opportunity to help our club, and so it could surprise us in these closing hours of the deadline and all that. There's not a ton of activity, so we'll see what happens, but we're certainly open to whatever those potentials are.
Last one, the environment in Denver, the altitude. Raider Nation travels there. This has been a storied rivalry here, so it's an interesting setting here on a short week, the cardio to get the team rested and up to go for a tough place to play.
Yeah, it's tough on their club too.
Yeah.
It's tough on the whole process to get your game ready to go. But it's equal. They're Sunday to Thursday, which we are, and so we'll see how that goes. That's always been a difficult place to play, and how they got that advantage to play that high up, I don't know, but there's something to it. So we'll play a lot of guys, and we'll keep everybody fresh and see if we can't get a great win.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.